Next up, we have ourselves a special treat. Don't you hate when MCs say it's a special treat? I think this is a special treat because when I asked Coach Reggie, tell me something that I should tell the audience, he said, tell them this. I may not be the best speaker you see today, but I will certainly be the loudest. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Reggie.
Thanks, everybody. Coach Reggie. Back to the loudest thing. I've always been described as that, hey, you're pretty loud, got a lot of energy. Where does that come from? Well, I guess I'm a coach, and I feel like I'm a coach purist, not the what do you want to talk today kind of coach, but that coach that you've had, for those of you that are athletes in the room, that coach you had that every now and then has to shake you around, grab you by the face mask, and those were a lot of the mentors and teachers and people that grew me a lot in my life. So now, I was a try-hard athlete, but I just wasn't a good one. Right? I was that guy that tried hard. I was the Rudy. I was the oversized Rudy, right, in the group, right? So that was me. But because I wasn't very talented, so I couldn't get my college paid for by being an athlete. So I had to go to the University of the Marine Corps, right? So I learned there how to be pretty stinking loud and sound off like you got a pair. So, in diving too, why am I so loud when I speak? They were laving me up for the mic and they're like, how do you like it? I was like, I never use a microphone, right? Because I don't need to, usually my voice carries. So beyond being loud, I am also practical. So I want to give you some practical tips on how to grow great organizations by growing great people. By a show of hands, pretty please, how many of you have people that work for you? Just show of hands, have people that work for you, that direct reports, okay? So how many of you have no professional responsibility at all when it comes to people? Other hand? Okay, just a few of you. I'm not sure where the rest of you fall, but but those of you that have people that report to you, wouldn't it be great if over time, over the next 6 months to a year to 2 years, that they grew exponentially? That they grew not only personally, but professionally, and they grew. Wouldn't that be so much better? You can go out and you can hire talent, but in order for people to reach their full potential, they have to be grown. And if you think of any time where you've made massive growth in your life, you've been grown. And there's been a system and a process to grow those. Unfortunately, when we get into like normal professional life, we're often not taught a system, a methodology to be able to grow really ourselves and grow others. We're just kind of left to our own devices and thrown out there. So what I want to provide you is a practical system and methodology that I use. A little bit of background on me is I am a business coach. I've operated a practice for the last 17 years, primarily coaching small business owners and helping them grow themselves and their business exponentially. Also coach some CEOs and work with some other organizations as well. But my true passion is helping small business owners grow. And small business owners, they like to steal stuff, by the way. Most small business owners that are successful don't have any original thoughts. They just take what I teach them and they apply it to their team members. And I fully encourage that because in order to have a great exponentially growing organization, you've got to have people that grow along the way. If you don't, you're going to leave people behind, right? And it's the whole kind of cheaper to keep them mentality. Right, that it's a whole lot more cost effective if you grow people along the way, because if you leave them behind, you've got to hire somebody else in, the cost of turnover replacement, we all know what those numbers look like. So, and I'm sure there's no shortage in this environment of conferences and those kind, and I go to plenty of conferences myself, and I experience a motivational bump that comes from conference. So I'm sure there's no shortage of motivational resources out there. But here's the problem with and that may be a plan to grow your people, and that does have some effect. Send somebody to a conference. I don't know if you have that same effect like I do. Like I get pumped up when I go to conference. I'm easily motivated and charged up. And I walk in, I'm like a helium balloon. I walk out of that conference full of helium and charged up, right? And by the time I travel back home and get home and get settled, I wake up the next day, and what's that balloon look like? It's kind of hanging on like midair. I don't know, that first day of the office getting caught back up, right? You forget about it. And then 2 days later, where's the balloon? It's sitting on the ground, just weaning down to that. So, that's the problem with motivation. It's very short-lived. I've heard a lot of professional coaches say that, what do you do in motivational speeches? I don't do anything. That's not what grows people. That's not what inspires great performance. What makes people perform and grow is that day in, day out grind. So what I want to do is give you very quickly some practical ways to be able to help the people on your team grow and develop using the same system that I use. All right. So the first step in that process. By the way, this process is fairly simple but yet powerful. So highly encourage you. It's 6 points. You might want to take some notes. Point number 1. The key to helping somebody grow exponentially and grow. I call it coaching to a goal. By the way. So help somebody coach to a goal. The first step is to be in alignment with them. So you want to be in alignment. You need to be in alignment with who they are. Right? What's their makeup? What's their behavioral style? What's their preferences? What's their goals? What drives them? What motivates them, right? Who they are. We're all individuals, and we wanted to be treated as such. So who somebody is the key, right? Now, you're going to need that here in a minute, like that who part. But the where someone wants to go. You also got to be in alignment with where they want to go. What are their long-term goals, dreams, and aspirations? What do they want out of life? Where do they need to be in 5 years, both personally and professionally, be on track with some of the longer term goals they have? Where do they need to be in 3 years? Most importantly, what do they need to do in the next 12 months? A great question to go back for those of you that have people that report to you is, where do you need to be at the end of 2023, both personally and professionally? And then, all right, 90 days to be on track. We're going to run this in 90-day sprints toward that 12-month goal. So that so knowing where they want to go, and lastly, why they want to get there. You're going to need to know their why. What burns? What's the passion in their belly? What's the fire in their belly that really drives them toward their goals, dreams, and aspirations? Because if you don't have that, what's going to happen when you grow? When you grow to new levels that you've never been before, guess what? You don't know what you're doing at those new levels. It's tough. It's humbling. You'll hit speed bumps, roadblocks. You'll skin your knees along the way. So knowing someone's why and them having clarity on their own why will help you give them the support they need to be able to grow. Next step, after you know where they want to go, why they want to get there, and who they are, then you need to have an action plan. And the action plan should be made up of sensible strategies that make sense for the business, the industry, their role, right? But also need to be custom tailored to the individual. I can coach 2 people in the same industry, and I would probably coach them 2 different ways because they are different who's. But on top of that, they also are probably on a different development curve than that. So making a customized and individualized plan, action plan for helping to get to where they want to go. And then that also what makes sense right now. And where great managers as well as coaches really earn their keep is knowing what's the right play to call right now. What's the right action step to be able to do right now? All right, so you got to have an action plan. And then you got to have regular meetings. That's the third piece, coaching to a goal, is regular meetings. All right, and regular meetings that provide a knowledge transfer, or at least telling them where to go to get the knowledge. After they get the knowledge, also they need support, right? Now, sometimes that support is a kick. Sometimes it's a pat on the back, sometimes it's a hug, sometimes it's a tissue. But providing the support somebody needs when they do go through those growing pains, and they call them pains for a reason, right? So providing support, accountability, as well as deadlines. And if there's any magic in accelerating somebody's pace toward a goal, it is helping them, is deadlines, frequency of deadlines. How often should I do these regular meetings? Well, it depends on how fast you and they want to grow. And they need to grow, and how fast your organization needs to grow along with it. Most commonly, I do coaching sessions with my business owners that are growing weekly. They often copy and transfer and do one-to-ones with their team members weekly because they're in fast-moving, growing organizations, right? We don't wait around for the end of the year when that employee actually asks for a review. Right? That's way too late. Quarterly is often way too late as well. They're not going to grow. You're just kind of maintaining at that point. So you got to have regular meetings, and the faster the meeting, the faster the growth. You got to keep score, right? Got to keep score. Got to keep a measure of growth and performance, KPIs, OKRs. If you're on acronym types, key performance indicators, right? OKRs, objective key result areas. You can tell I'm more of a KPI guy. So keeping measure on their progress, just like the doctor does. You go in, they always take the vital signs, right? The weight, the height, the blood pressure, the pulse, look and make sure everything's okay. Got to do the same in somebody's position. Time, knowledge, right? Next key, right? Number 5 is knowledge. The more knowledge someone has, the easier it is for them to grow and develop. So always make sure that there's a what's on the learning agenda. Proactive learning will accelerate growth. We have a saying that an educated client is an easy client. An educated direct report is an easy report to grow. And lastly, time. When you're growing, and doing new things, time becomes an issue. So help sorting out the time thing, because what's the excuse when somebody doesn't want to do something? I don't have time for it, right? And you got to start to learn to have the time to do things at the next level if you're going to do that. So those are the 6 keys to coaching and growing someone to a goal. And so I close with this. Know that great organizations and great individuals are not born, they're grown. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you soon.